Dolphin fans are ready for a change under center after a dreadful start. They want Shedeur Sanders traded to the Dolphins. Should Miami make a new move, Ocho?
You trade Shedeur Sanders. You clearly are not sold on him right now. You're not sold on the progress that he's making, even though you're saying, hey, we're happy with where he's at.
I'm going to be livid if it goes down, by the way.
Breaking news, folks. The trade rumors surrounding Shedeur Sanders are heating up once again, and this time, there's serious buzz about a potential trade involving Tua Tagovailoa. After a tough start to the season, with Tua fumbling under pressure, fans are starting to get restless, and the calls for action are growing louder. Teams across the league are keeping a close eye on Shedeur Sanders, and the pressure is mounting on the Dolphins to make a move. If Miami wants to secure the promising quarterback, they'll need to act fast. But the big question remains: should the Dolphins pull the trigger? Let's dive into the latest trade news and break down what this could mean for both Miami's and Sanders' future.
I don't like when players do that.
Ain't lie.
Yeah, I don't like when players do that. Obviously, you would know him better than other people, being that you played there.
Shannon Sharpe has revealed that the Dolphins are seriously considering a change, as Tua Tagovailoa's performance hasn't lived up to expectations. The team is losing faith in him as their long-term quarterback, and with a long season ahead, they know they need someone capable of leading them deeper into the playoffs. Shedeur Sanders stands out as the ideal candidate for the job. However, Miami can't just rush into the bidding war. They'll have to be strategic, as other teams are also circling this potential deal. Kevin Stefanski recently spoke out about the rising trade rumors surrounding Shedeur Sanders, admitting that sometimes teams simply can't keep all their players. However, despite the mounting speculation, the Browns are making it clear they're not ready to give up their star quarterback. They're holding firm and resisting the pressure to make a move. Still, there's no denying that if Cleveland were to lose Sanders, their chances of staying competitive in the league would take a serious hit. The future of the franchise depends on keeping him, and the stakes have never been higher.
But when he said, well, these are going to be tough decisions, and you can't always keep everyone, right?
And then he tried making it like, I was talking about the 90.
Right.
Yeah.
Within Cleveland, the debate is heating up, with some insiders suggesting that if Shedeur Sanders is truly available for trade, it might be time for the Browns to part ways with him. His market value is at an all-time high, and multiple teams, including the Dolphins, are expressing serious interest. Journalists are questioning whether it makes sense to hold on to a player who hasn't quite met the high expectations surrounding him. Fans are also pushing for his release, believing a fresh start elsewhere could unlock his full potential. The pressure on the Browns to make a decision is mounting, with Miami emerging as a potential landing spot.
You trade Shedeur Sanders. You clearly are not sold on him right now. You're not sold on the progress that he's making, even though you're saying, hey, we're happy with where he's at.
I'm going to be livid if it goes down, by the way.
In an attempt to control the narrative around Shedeur Sanders, the Browns tried to downplay his importance, but their strategy has backfired. Instead of reducing his spotlight, they've only brought more attention to him. Cabot pointed out that the Browns made a critical mistake by underestimating Sanders' rising fame, noting that with a player of his caliber, it's impossible to manage his growing popularity. Sanders comes with a massive following and a passionate fan base. The more the Browns attempt to minimize his significance, the more backlash they face, only increasing the pressure on the team. Their efforts to shift the focus have only made things worse. Now, if the Dolphins pull off a trade for Sanders, not only could they enhance their roster, but they'd also gain major fan attention, boosting their visibility like never before.
Well, I think that this is a football team that really tries to kind of block out some of that noise, or tell themselves that they can handle it, that they can handle the storm that's going to come with a player like Shedeur.
There's growing resistance within the Browns organization to trading Shedeur Sanders, with ownership pushing for him to get a chance on the field. Jimmy Haslam is now personally involved, pushing hard for Sanders to finally take the reins. Reports suggest that Haslam is ready to make a bold move, and Colin Cowherd has even speculated that Sanders could be playing as soon as November. According to Cowherd, it's only a matter of time before the Browns hit a tipping point. If the losses keep piling up, the pressure on Stefanski and the coaching staff will become too much to bear, forcing them to make a change. That's when Sanders is expected to step in, injecting the team with the energy and spark they need. If he performs well, even in limited appearances, the fans will be calling for him to become the permanent starter, with his name dominating headlines every week.
I tend to think by Thanksgiving, he'll just potentially be the best quarterback they have, and the fans will be clamoring for him because it's not a very good team and they'll be losing games.
Colin Cowherd took it a step further, revealing that Browns ownership is fully behind Shedeur Sanders, pushing for him to take the field as they view him as the future of the franchise. However, there's a catch. Management isn't quite ready to hand him the starting role just yet. According to reports, the front office and coaching staff are looking for ways to buy more time, attempting to delay his full-time debut. Their approach seems to be focused on gradually easing Sanders into the spotlight.
Where's that going to be if you get to October and November, and now all of a sudden you've got life-changing money on the line? Is that going to get better, or is that going to get worse? I'd say it probably gets worse, so I don't think the Steelers thought this is a bad-hearted guy.
You might be wondering, why is Jimmy Haslam so determined to get Shedeur Sanders on the field? The answer lies in Shedeur's growing influence and massive fan base. His personality and presence have already made him the focal point, turning him into the talk of the town. Fans are rallying behind him, and let's be honest, the Browns haven't been in the spotlight for much else. Even after a rough season, the attention surrounding Cleveland has been driven by Shedeur. He's brought excitement, visibility, and most importantly, ratings. In the NFL, ratings mean money, and Browns ownership knows they can't afford to overlook that.
Thing that is bringing the Browns right into the center of the NFL universe. Right now, it's Shedeur Sanders, right? I mean, there is just so much content, so much debate.
Jimmy Haslam knows that losing Shedeur Sanders would be a major setback, as he's the one player capable of bringing the Browns back into the NFL spotlight. This is why Haslam and the front office are holding their ground. They're committed to keeping him. Rumors are already swirling that several teams, including the Dolphins, are eager to land Shedeur, but Haslam is shutting down any offers. However, the pressure is building, and the longer Shedeur stays on the sidelines, the more the talks will intensify. With the Dolphins now involved, the Browns are faced with a tough decision, as losing Shedeur would be a huge blow to their future.
Yeah. Good to see you. Oh, we got well, we got to do some trading. Dion, she's mine. Hey,
As the trade rumors surrounding Shedeur Sanders continue to heat up, the Cleveland Browns are facing a pivotal moment in their franchise's future. With ownership firmly backing Sanders and pushing for him to take the field, the team finds itself at a crossroads. Jimmy Haslam understands the value Shedeur brings, not just on the field, but also in terms of visibility, fan engagement, and revenue. The Browns can't afford to lose a player of his caliber, especially with other teams like the Dolphins showing strong interest. However, the pressure is mounting. The longer Shedeur remains on the sidelines, the more intense the discussions will become. While Cleveland is determined to keep him, their front office is also trying to navigate the growing demand for his talent. If the Dolphins make a successful push for Sanders, it could signal the end of Cleveland's hopes of keeping him long-term. For the Browns, the stakes couldn't be higher. Their decision on whether to stick with Shedeur or let him go will shape the future of the franchise. As the situation unfolds, all eyes will be on Cleveland, as they decide whether to hold on to their star player or risk losing him to another team hungry for success. What do you think, folks? Should the Dolphins go all in and trade for Shedeur Sanders? Or is it too risky to give up on Tua just yet? Can the Browns afford to let go of a player who could be their future? Or should they cash in on his high market value while they still can? And if Sanders does end up in Miami, how will that impact the Dolphins' chances this season? Will the pressure on Cleveland's management to keep him only grow as the season goes on? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and let's discuss what could be one of the most significant moves in the NFL this year.